and she lives in New Zealand. She's a consultant pediatrician. So she's dealing with sick children. She's in a hospital. She goes from child to child. And being a consultant, she has a gaggle of people around her. There are students, there are nurses, etc. There are lots of people who are wanting to chip in, and it becomes quite busy. But what Akshobhani told me was that it's really important to her that when she is with a child, she can give them her complete attention. And if you've just been with one child, how do you move on from that to the next? So what she does is she uses the fact that she's obliged by law to spend 30 seconds washing her hands. And she's told her team, her medical team, that no one is to speak to her in these 30 seconds. So in the midst of everything else, that is a moment of stillness. She takes her time, she feels the sensations, she is mindful, she pauses. And then she's able to go on to the next child and give them her complete attention. It's like the still point in the turning world. So, meditation in a busy life, or a busy world even, can be that for ourselves. The role of meditation is to let the mind become still. We have to do that if it's going to be meditation and if we're going to be mindful. There has to be an element of stillness. It's not complete stillness. And I sometimes wonder about the word stillness because it sounds like there's no movement at all. What we're doing is we're quietening the mind, and that allows us to go deeper. So one way that we can think about where we go in meditation is to become more and more deeply absorbed, more one-pointed. Another way we can go is to use that stillness to have a broad awareness or mindfulness of all of the things in our experience and in our life. So that's really the choice that we're making. But either of them starts with gathering our attention, letting go of thoughts, and learning the skill of settling down and becoming quieter. So that's what we're going to be exploring today. And I think it's worth saying that it's moving in the direction of stillness, not becoming completely still. That's not really possible. The mind, you'll find that there are still thoughts. The body is still alive and moving. So let's just see how it goes. Now, we'll take our time to set up, okay? It's quite easy to sort of feel like you're going to rush into meditation to squeeze it into the middle of a busy day. You've got to do it really quickly. Well, you can't meditate quickly. So let's start by just deciding how we want to sit for the practice. If you have a posture that you're happy with, making any little adjustments to it, such as shifting your weight. I mean, for me, I can sort of slump forward, I can be bolt upright, and I can find a middle position between the two. So finding that point of balance, which is both comfortable, supported, and alert and upright. Just take a breath now, deeper breath. Breathing in, filling the lungs, feeling the air flowing in, and then as we breathe out, just letting go. Just to start with, it's fine to exaggerate this a little bit. We're going to settle down, and in the practice as a whole, We're not changing how we breathe. We're just letting the breath flow. So coming to stillness, but still noticing the out-breath, noticing how we settle down as we breathe out. We expel air, we let go of tension. So really enjoying that sense of letting go. And we can use a phrase to encourage that. We just say to ourselves, let it go. And that can mean whatever we need to let go of. Thoughts maybe, or preoccupations, or engagement with what we have been doing. Let it go. We can say to ourselves, settling. Settling. Here and now. Here and now. Just feeling the breath flowing, giving ourselves a moment, not really doing anything. A lot of us are just busy, so much of the time. Let's just give ourselves the space to not be busy, not be doing things. Just sitting, resting, breathing. Now, to help us stay with the breath, if you like, can introduce a count. It's helpful when we're focusing on becoming more still. So we breathe in, we breathe out, and we count 1. We're just dropping the count in lightly to mark the end of the out breath. Breathe in, breathe out, 2. And we'll carry on in this way to the number that's right for you. Just decide a number, maybe 7 or 8, something like that. And then we get to that number, we breathe in, we breathe out, we count 8, and we start again with 1. Breathe in, breathe out, 1. And the counting can be a guide. It can let us know whether we are staying with the breath or whether we're drifting with thoughts. So we come back to the breath. If we've lost track, we come back, starting again at 1. So just staying present. Staying with the breath. And one name for this practice is the breathing anchor. And just as an anchor holds a boat in place and stops it drifting on the current, so the breath draws us back when our mind floats away downstream with the currents. The counting is the tug. Just come back, breathing in, breathing out, counting 1. So if the counting is still feeling useful, because there are lots of thoughts and the mind is drifting, then stay with the counting. But we might also drop the counting and just stay with the breath. Perhaps looking a little more closely at the sensations of breathing. Feeling the breath moving in the chest and the tummy. What do we notice? As the breath flows in, the tummy billows out. As it billows out, the skin stretches slightly, rises, it expands. So staying with the body, moving with the breath, and also checking out how we're feeling. Is there anywhere that feels tense or tight? It might be connected with some of the thoughts going through our mind. Is there anywhere that we feel a particular sense of intensity or warmth? So feeling the breath there. Imagining the breath flowing into that area that's tense or tight, just flowing in. And then as we breathe out, the breath spreading through the body in our imagination. Every time thoughts come and take our attention, every time our awareness drifts with those thoughts or maybe gets very involved with them, we come back. We bring ourselves back. Off we go again, and we bring ourselves back. Thoughts probably won't stop, but this practice of coming back again and again, bringing ourselves back again and again, helps us move towards a greater sense of stillness. Staying present, breathing, settling, noticing where the body feels alive and energized, connecting with that sense of vitality, connecting that with the breath, breathing in with awareness, breathing out and just absorbing. Breath flowing in, breath flowing out. And noticing how the body feels now. Simply by sitting still. some sense of stillness may be entering the body. Perhaps not. So noticing, exploring, being curious. And then starting in our own way to make a gentle transition. Just asking ourselves what that might help that transition. It's very easy to jar ourselves. Just jump up and you leave half of your awareness behind. So just gently introducing a little movement, a little rolling the neck, rolling the shoulders, that sort of thing. But use your intuition. What does your body need? And then externalizing our awareness by becoming aware of the room around us. Opening your eyes when you're ready, and still just taking time to absorb. Okay, so let's go to some questions and comments. And here's a comment. Let it go. So that was a phrase that I suggested. Let it go. It's something I plan to take off the cushion. It's simple and helps clear my mind of negative thoughts. Very helpful. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, let it go. What's the opposite of letting it go? Holding on. And that's quite interesting to explore. How do we hold on to resentments, irritation, thoughts, and how do we let it go? Okay, staying still is challenging for me. I'm a big multitasker. My mind goes to my to-do lists and problems to solve while I'm still. What can I tell myself before I give up? Good, right. Thank you for asking. I want to get good at meditating, admittedly impatient. All right, I want to get good at this. Okay. I think the best message that we can give ourselves, we can give that restless mind is, right now, I have everything I need to be okay. And then the thought comes in and says, oh no, you've got to do this. You've got to do this today. And you've got a busy life. You've got all these things to do. And we need to answer that thought. We need to say, yes, you'll get attention. That's fine. But right now, I'm doing something else. It's important as well. It's important to have space, and I don't need anything else right now. Okay. I hope that's helpful. So, interesting to feel vital, active, and still. So it's that combination, I think. I typically enjoy a lot of stimulation. Are there meditation practices that include more activity? Well, there are lots. The obvious ones are things like yoga, but it does depend how you do yoga. You can do yoga simply as kind of a workout and keep fit. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course, but that is moving away from the meditative dimension. You can also do yoga, and you can find yoga teachers in most places who are really interested in bringing awareness, mindfulness into the body. Tai Chi, a lot of the Asian martial arts and things like that, Qigong. These are interesting things to explore. But it might be that you have something else in your life. I mean, for example, playing music or singing, or there might be an activity that you have that has that element of reflectiveness built into it. And it might be that there are activities that you do all the time, your work, for example, which can lend themselves to a greater sense of mindfulness. They can actually become a practice. That means really working with our habits. It's not straightforward, but that's what this is about. It's about exploring. We're learning to focus our attention, and one of the things that we learn in that process is that focus is dynamic. It's not just being motionless. In meditation, we need to work with the forces in our mind. We need to look at what it is if we're feeling very unbalanced. What is it? And that might show up in meditation. It might be something that's really there in our lifestyle as a whole. If my mind is very conflicted, what are those conflicts in our life? How can I bring more simplicity into my life? That's what we need, and it's what the world needs as well. So thank you. I'm going to finish with a poem by one of my favorite poets, Wallace Stevens, who's an American poet of the 20th century. His poems are a little elusive, but I love this, and just go with the feeling of it, even if you don't quite get the meaning. The house was quiet and the world was calm. The reader became the book, and summer night was like the conscious being of the book. The house was quiet and the world was calm. The words were spoken as if there was no book, except that the reader leaned above the page, wanted to lean, wanted much, most to be the scholar to whom his book is true, to whom the summer night is like a perfection of thought. The house was quiet because it had to be. The quiet was part of the meaning, part of the mind, the access of perfection to the page. And the world was calm. The truth in a calm world in which there is no other meaning. Itself is calm. Itself is summer and night. Itself is the reader leaning late and reading there. Thank you for sharing this time. Please continue to explore your meditation practice with us. We love having you. Check out our daily live meditations at round.glass or on our app. Have a great day, and however fast the wheels are spinning, keep coming back to the still center.